Hi guys, welcome back to my channel welcome back to my channel. You're tuned into the Rose Family channel. I'm the beautiful Rose. Welcome guys to today's topic. You know, it's been placed on my heart to come and do this video, and here I am. I just want to say to you guys out there, you know, it's not a race. It's not a race. It's not a race. It's not a race. I can't tell you enough times, you know, it is not a race. Everyone, I just want to start by saying everyone out there have their ways and how they go about stuff. But you know, throughout times we've learned to do better in terms of the way we do things, the way we see things, etc. I'd hope so, as we all get to a certain stage. Some persons learn at a pretty young age sometimes, depending on their surrounding, and being very aware of the fact that it's not a race. It's not a race against each other. It's not a race against like family members. It's not a race in the workforce. It's not a race in like families, in terms of like, when you say family, you got a wide range. It could be like having to deal with your siblings. It's not a race. Having to deal with aunts, uncles, etc., etc., depending, it's not a race. So, you know, the reason why I'm coming to do this video, it's just to highlight and say to you guys that I just feel that you're wasting your time if you feel like it's a competition, whether it's be a competition between your siblings, whether it be a competition against, like, you got aunts, uncle, cousins, etc. And like I mentioned before, in workplace and in other areas, you know, even on the YouTube space. So different example. There's so much examples out there of feeling like you need to be in a race with an individual, and in that area you might find yourself starting back at the beginning if you're gonna go ahead and be like that, in terms of like trying to act as if it's a competition, it's a race. You're gonna, you know, and people not gonna want to celebrate you because you didn't wait. I'll give you guys some examples to maybe give you a clearer idea of what I'm on about. Say for example, I'm building a house and I've got another friend, you know, just throwing out there into the space wide, building a house, and I've got 6 blocks building that house, and my friend's got 10 blocks building the house, and I feel a need, I need to go get an extra 4 to make mine 10, or not even 4, to go and get 6 just to be 2 ahead of my friend. That's a very competitive way to think, because in my thoughts I'm thinking, oh, she's got 10, so I'm gonna go and get 6 more to even have more than her, 12. That's the type of race I'm talking about, guys. Another example, you're in your siblings, and one of them is getting married. You got 4 siblings. The youngest one decided that she's gonna get married, and as the oldest one, you feel some type of way about that situation. And, you know, you're going to knock them off the block to say, I'm going to get married, or it's my turn to get married, it's my turn to get married. Why are you getting married? Why are you getting married? You know? And I'll follow that with a scripture that I can remember from the Bible. When God asks, I don't want to get this wrong because I'll fumble here. I think it's Jesse, to go get all his children. And he gathered up all his children more than one time. And it wasn't all his children. Gathered up his children, but it wasn't all his children. More than one time, God had to say to him, is this all your children? So many times, to the last time, when God asked him, is this all your children? I think it triggered in his brain that, oh, he's got another son tending the sheeps. And he finally bring that son. Because in his mind, that's when you're thinking on your own understanding as well, and not from a good place. You probably think that that son, it couldn't be him. But God said, gather all your children. All meaning all. If you got some stuck away somewhere, go dig them out. All means all. And that son that he didn't bring forward on first, second, I don't know. Guys, comment down below how many times that was the son that God needed to do his work. So I said this to say, if you're in your family members and stuff like that, like the point I made, you have 4 siblings, you're the eldest, and the youngest decide to get married, and you're thinking, well, I've been here all this time, you know, I'm way older. Why should she come and get married before me? Or why should he come and get married before me? It is not a race. And that could lead to all different type of problems. You go and marry the wrong person in some cases. Or you rushing to get married before your time. Because I think most persons, they take out everything out of the equation. Most likely not even focus on the right thing. God's timing. You know? It's everything else we're thinking about, and we neglect to remember God's timing. And that's always the right timing. There's no point rushing. And I'm as a somebody that's been through life, I can tell you, I can testify that God's timing is always the right timing. And even if you had plans in the works to say that, oh, I was going to get married, or da-da-da-da. If your younger sibling come and say they're getting married, there's not a problem. You don't have to force yourself in the mix. Let them have their time. Let them be celebrated. And let them do them. And when you get time to do you, you do you. And you find that, especially if you're praying to God and following his timing, it'd be so surreal and beautiful. Because God knows all of us hearts and what we conjure up in our own minds, what we do, and where that doing is coming from, whether it's coming from a good place, not so good place, or a bad place, etc. He knows. So like I said, coming back to my point of this topic today, it is not a race. And the marriage situation is just one example. It's different situation. I see a situation, you go into school and people might have it in their minds that a certain particular children, oh, they're the best child. No. The point I failed to touch on in the scenario that I told you, when God tell Jesse to go and get all his son, that particular child that God was looking for was the youngest, probably the most puniest look-wise. Just to show you it's not about looks, it's not about anything like that. 99.9, 100% of the time, God looks at the heart, especially if it's coming from a godly aspects. He's looking at the heart. He's looking at the heart. And there's always lessons in his way as well, just to show and prove it's not about how you look. Going back to the school situation, you see a child, you're thinking, oh, all the children in the school is valuable. All the children in the school is valuable. And if they're lacking in this area and that area, they're not going to lack in all the area. I'll show you, for example, my child is at school, very bright. And he do maths, and he got his, everything he's in the right place to be, like, forgot the terminology. He's at the right standard. In maths, he's above the standard. And I'm a parent, I feel so happy about it. I'm thinking, wow. When you see another child, and because maybe that child have other limitation, all this subject is above standard, except for maths. And this is a real life facts. I'm telling you something that I know. That's hence why I draft my child as an example. So never you underestimate anyone's kid, anyone's child, or anybody in general. Look at all person as equal, or even look at them better than yourself in that sense, because that will give you a guidelines of how you should be behaving and how you should treat others. And that will be a measure of how people would more or less want to be treating you back. So I'm telling you guys, it is not a race. Me as a mother, to tell you the truth, in the scenario that I told you earlier, and I told you this is a real life scenario, in my heart I'm thinking, next year you're going to sure do better and get above in more stuff, because generally as humans that's how we think. But it's not to say, like, now I've gone back into myself, it's not to say that I'm not going to want my child to keep doing better, because I know we can do more and we can do better. But I am not going to be in a race or a competition with anyone else, because it has underlying negativity towards having a mindset like that. Let person do them and have their time. And oh, I have this amount of money, that amount of money. You see persons that have so much money, you don't know how they get their money. You go mind their business. You don't know how that person, and you're aiming and you're doing all sorts of things to get the money to your own perils. It is not a race. And it's very important that everyone keep their own individuality, or else we all be like clowns. Is that the right word? Clones. God didn't make us on this earth to be clones. They put differences in place so we can love and appreciate each other for their differences. And everyone is special, and they have their own special things about them. And you try to clone somebody's identity, you're never going to be the true you. It's never going to be the true you. And you cannot live into that person's footstep. You okay, Angelo?
I was just asking if I can get some water.
Yeah, you think you could help yourself? Oh, bottled water. Yeah, you can have one. Well done. Yeah, guys. It is not a race. It is not a race. Because when you operate in that area as if it's a race and it's a competition, and you're not happy for those who's having their moment and having their time, you might think you're doing the other person a disadvantage. But I can tell you today, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself a disadvantage. The noise coming from the shower. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're being a disadvantage towards yourself. You find that people don't celebrate you in the same way, which is what you're looking for, but they're not going to celebrate you in the same way because you're rushing and you're forcing things. Another analogy, it reminds me of like you in Jamaica and you see the mangoes growing on the tree and you can't even wait, even though person's rather green mango. But listen to the analogy, you can't wait for the mango to come to his fullness. You take it off the tree because even when persons like green mango, there's a certain point with mangoes that you find it will hurt your stomach if you take it off before the right time. God's timing. No matter how old you are, no matter what you see going on around you. I'll give you another example. When I was growing up, and all my children, not my children, sorry guys, all my siblings, they were having children. They were having children. Way before me, I had my children at a later stage in life. Everybody having children, and I used to feel out of place, like, oh, is there something wrong with me? You know, I got pregnant twice. One, I had an abortion first time. The second time, I lost the child. And I used to think, oh, am I ever going to have children? Look at me now. 4 children. Tricky at times to even manage, as you guys well know. It's not easy to grow children. God will bless you in your own time. In His own time. In His own time. And if you don't conform to people's expectation, that's one of the biggest downfall of. Don't conform to people's expectation. Don't conform to human being expectation. As long as you know you're doing the right thing and you're trying your best. It's not about I'm 30 and somebody's 20 and they getting married before me that's 30. Or they get the job. You know? We're humans and it does creep in. And I'll be the first to put my hand up. I am not perfect. It does creep in. These things. I normally watch, like sometimes I watch YouTubers and I'm looking at my channel thinking, why my channel is not growing? Why isn't it growing? You know, da-da-da-da. You don't know what persons do. They put the work in. You don't know their business. So stay in your line and focus on you. And keep going. That's the main thing. Don't give up. Keep going. You don't know. That's what you should be doing. Just keep going. And when God ready to bless you, He'll bless you. And it's going to be way better than if you try to jump the queue. Because trying to say that, oh, it's not your turn. It should be my turn. Like there's an order to this. No. It's not an order. And it's not age that does, oh, my age, I should be married first. Or I should get that plate of food first. Etc, etc, etc. You guys out there know you can fill the gaps. No. Guys, it is not a race. And be very mindful or you get into that trap of thinking it's a race and rushing things, and not be happy for people and their successes. You know? So many times. And if I fall short in those areas, always humble myself, because I know, and if I say I don't know, I'll be lying. I know it's not a race, and I don't compete with others. And I suggest you guys out there do the same. Whether persons that watching this video, family, friends, do the same. It's not a race. Because if you get things in rush, you're going to go in a rush. And if you get things with that the right attitude, just as easy as it comes, it'll go as easy. And like I said, you'll get caught up in all sorts of things when you don't humble yourself and let other people have their time. Don't steal other person's joy, because it's not of good character. It is not a race. And I suggest, if somebody come to you and they're saying XYZ and you know it's not the right thing, you reinforce them and tell you, you'll get your time. And it's not a race, it's not a competition, and it's not a cloning either. So this is where I'm going to end the video, guys. I hope my point is come across clearly, and for you guys to know, be individuals, take your time, and if somebody else you feel that they getting things before you, it is not your time, or doing things before you, it is not a race. Lots of love and best wishes out there, guys. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and I shall see you all in another video. Bye, guys.